Hey Royals and Stampin' Friends. Today I am showing you how to make 4 cards using the Let's Set Sales Stamp Set, and showing you how you can make this kit. You can get 4 free from me when you order as a Stampin' Friend, or get this from me as a Royal Heart Stamper for a discounted price. Go ahead and hold my flip and we'll get started with our cards for the day. All right, hopefully we can see everything okay. There's a bit of a shadow in here. It is a cloudier day here in California, and so hopefully everything is visible. We'll scoot this over so that it's more center. There we go. All right, so for our kit of the month, it is using the Let's Set Sales Stamp Set. Some of you have already purchased this. Some of my customers have already ordered the stamp set, and I've sent to them the kit making these 4 cards. And in order to finish this kit, you just need your adhesives, ink, and the stamp set that is part of the kit. I also do suggest, this is the Sailboat Builder Punch, to add this to your order. You get them together as a bundle and save 10%, and it is a great deal. You can still fussy cut some of these images out. This is the only one right here, that card, that would require you to use the punch or the fussy cut. Otherwise, everything else comes in the kit ready for you to make. All right, let me show you the stamp set a little bit closer. And we're going to be using all 3 sayings, and I have one card that has no saying at all. We are using every single one, I think. We have our sailboats here, our sails, I should say. Here's our boat with the pole and the flag. We have our cute little birds, and this piece here is used a lot for water making images, and you'll see how we use it to build our sunset today. Also, there's this awesome looking shadow of our sailboat that goes nicely right underneath, so it looks like the reflection onto the water. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And let me first show you each card. I really tried hard to make these cards look like they're different times of the day. So we have our sunset card right here that has the beautiful coloring of the sky, well, of a circle of the sky, and then even a really cool reflection there. Then we have our moon, our silver moon, and our darkened sailboat. So we have that huge change from a white sailboat of day, and then our black sailboat from night with our silver moon. So that's a fun one. And then we have our 2 more colorful ones. This one has our most detail to it, and they're probably our most stamping and steps, but it has no saying. If you wanted to add a saying to this one, you can go ahead and just fussy cut it and then attach it onto the card as well. This is our daytime one. You see that we have a little bit of a sun look right there up above the sky. And then our last one is this fun fold, which is a window card. So we open it up, and that's where we see our finished look of our sailboat in there. So this one's stamped directly onto the inside of the card. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this one, with our starting one. I do have to tell you a quick story. I promised I would talk about my nails a little bit today. So I had to paint my nails this color. I call it the Tiffany's blue, or like a robin's egg, is what it looks like to me, because I was at McDonald's getting ice cream on Monday, and my toenails are painted this color. I usually go bright colors for toenails. I will not show you those. But the guy in the ice cream line, he complimented me that he loved my toenail color, and he said it's because it made him happy. And I was like, oh. And so I thought, what a fun thing to have on my fingers, and hopefully seeing my bright blue nails also makes you happy. All right, so let's grab the things for this card. I did a lot of prepping, and a lot of prepping for your kits. So you get a lot of value when you order this kit as a demonstrator for the $10, or if you order the stamp set and get it for free. There's so much value in products I use to make these. So let me show you a little bit about those. For this one, we do use the layering circles to create this awesome circle frame. That's in the Bermuda Bay. Then I have the painted texture embossing folder, is what we've used to create this awesome texture on this piece of basic white. That'll be the front of our card. And then I went ahead and I did the step already where I've used my white embossing powder, my Versamark, my heating tool, And I've created this on here that's been heat embossed. So if I rub it, you can feel it kind of has a little bit of texture to it. It's not going to smear. It has white or clear ink on the bottom, but melted powder for that white look there. Just love the way that turns out. All right, so for this one, we'll have our card base, which I've already went ahead and I ran through our die cutting machine with our circle die. And the circle die is the same size as the larger one of our frame here. So what I did was I ran it through at the same time because we want these to match up. And your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine can totally handle 2 sheets of paper. Anything more than that, it gets a little bit iffy, but 2 it can handle. So we have these 2 here. Let's go ahead and glue these together. And in your kits, you'll notice that your paper has not been nicely crisp. Make sure you grab your bone folder to get onto your score line and flatten out your card base. All right, we're gonna use some liquid glue. And we're gonna go just around the outside and then of course around that circle there. And a little bit on that larger area. For all of my measurements, I will have them over on the blog and my steps for each individual card. So we'll just attach that there as best as we can. That looks pretty good. Then grab your pencil and we're going to go ahead and outline with this closed just a very soft drawing of a circle. You want to be able to erase that later, so you don't need to go super dark. You just need to be able to see it. Okay. Next over here, let's go ahead and add some liquid glue to our circle frame. And the way we did that was I used this larger circle with a one size smaller circle, and I die cut it out at the same time. And that's they're just nestled together. And then for this one, we use the smaller of the 2. So that way this can go over it perfectly. Just like so. Let's grab our little label here that says the hope it's your best day ever, which could be used for so many things. Father's Day, which is just on Sunday, don't forget. Also birthdays, celebrations. This is a great saying. Hope it's your best day ever. But we're going to just change the shape of it by cutting off just at the angle from one bottom to the top corner. And then we'll do the same thing to the bottom corner over here, to just about there. Just cutting off little wedges. Perfect. We're going to flip that over and add some dimensionals to the back. I like at least 3 for the size. You probably can get away with 2 if needed. Go flip it and attach it to your bottom here. There we go. In your kit, you will have one of 3 colors. So these are some old retired metallic ones. Now they only have 1 shade of color in the brush metallic dots, I think is what they're called. But these ones have 3 different shades. So in your kit, you might get a gold, a bronze, or more of a silver look. This one looks a little bit more bronzy and the bigger size. Let me show you how this one looks, and we're going to use at least 8 of them. We're going to go top and bottom first, straight across. And then we'll do that also for our sides to make kind of like a plus sign. And our goal here is to make this look like a ship's window that you look out of. And then we can start going more at an X. So from here to across to this side. If you want to use a piece of paper to help you guide that and space it a little bit better, you totally can. I am just eyeballing it here. There we go. All right, so that's it for the front. Looks pretty plain so far without our main saying, right? Or our main boat on the inside. Let's go ahead and open this up. And you can see our very lightly drawn circle right there. And let's grab our inks. So we are using for this one, I want to say I use, because the shape color here, I have 3 different shades of blue that I could possibly use. Let me go. So that shows you it's a little bit flexible. I think we used Pool Party for this one. Let me grab that one out. Our Pool Party ink. And we're gonna grab that giant long piece of water. Look here, very long. This is the eye block. So you'll need a large block to go with this stamp set. So keep that in mind, or your Stamparatus. Your Stamparatus can use any kind of stamp. It is large enough. Okay, you look at this and you'll see that it's super juicy. This one has too much ink on it for myself, and so I'm going to do a stamp off right here on my extra piece, and then I'll come over here and I can stamp onto here. And I want to make sure I'm getting in my circle on the bottom half of it. There we go. Still pretty dark, even if stamping off just once. All right, go ahead and close up that color. We're gonna grab our Night of Navy. So our Night of Navy ink. And if you don't have these colors, you can switch them up to the colors that you do have. A black would work fine for this one, or even an early espresso. And we are going to stamp our boat. So let's ink it up. And we're going to go right here so we can see through our little window. So use that circle as your guide. Right about there. Press down and lift up. Awesome. I'm going to do a quick cleaning so I don't forget for our next one. Let me do that again for this one too. When you're making multiple cards, different designs, make sure you clean right away or else you will forget for sure. All right, that's it for our Night of Navy. And let's grab now our sails. So there's two different sail sizes. I like my boat to look like it's going the same way as my flag is going. So I have the smaller one out front. We're going to use our Real Red ink for this one, making this one look very patriotic. Perfect for the 4th of July even. And we're going to use the smaller one first. Go ahead and ink that up. Line it up onto your boat so that the ends are touching onto our center. Right about there. That's a nice thing about these being the photopolymer. We can see right through them. Oh, whew, luckily this guy was clean. Totally just dropped it. That could have been messy. That would have been hard to recover from. Whew. All right, hopefully that's inked enough. And let's go ahead and stamp this one, this cell, right about there. Awesome. Okay, grab your eraser and don't forget to wash off these cells. We have one more card that will need them. And I have a favorite eraser. Let me see if I can find it. I was using it earlier. It's not silly, a favorite eraser. Oh man, I might just have to use what's on the pencil, but this one can never be trusted. Let me do a practice. I don't know if I like that one. Hold on, I was using the eraser earlier, so it is out and about, but I don't see it right away. I know you're all curious now what my favorite eraser looks like. All right, found it. Is this one? Okay, I love a white eraser. For some reason, especially using white paper, it just works better. It's gentle. It's a high polymer eraser. Just buy this from your local office supplies. I'm going to take it and just go around and erase our circle. And then this card is done. We've created a cool window card. Oh, look how gorgeous that is. That has our cool sailboat. And the way that we have this stamp makes it so you could still make a nice little message here. And there you go. Super cool window sailboat card. All right, we'll go ahead and set this one aside. We'll bring it back at the very end to look at it again. And let's put this ink away. For our next card, let's do our daytime one. There we go. This one, like I said, has no saying, so it could be anything. And I wanted this one to be more girly. So that's why we brought in some of that pinks here, a mango melody, and the light shades of blue. This is our more girly one. Oh, you know what I forgot on this one? We'll do that real quick. I forgot my cute little birds. So we can open this one back up. Grab your Memento ink. This is black. And grab our little birds. And we'll just have to pretend I know where the circle is now since I've already erased it. But we can probably get a pretty good feel. There we go. Fixed it. And there we can see our birds through our window. Perfect. Sorry about that. These birds reminded me of the other birds. So this card here has lots of pieces. Lots of pieces. So we start off with our Flirty Flamingo card base. And all of these are the same sizes for this kit today, which is the 8.5, 5.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Let's go ahead and crisp that while we have it here, and then we can set it aside. I have our basic white, which I've embossed with that Into the Clouds embossing folder. It just came out with our new catalog. It is very subtle and really kind of cool. I am loving this one. Let's go ahead and attach that onto our card base. Again, using the multi-purpose liquid glue. And this will be as tall as it is, but not as wide. So it's 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. You want to create a border on the sides, but not on the top. So try to get that to line up so. And then I have a piece of the happiness, hues of happiness. There we go. So you see this one has like a rainbow of this, and then on the other side has the flowers. You could totally do flowers if you want. I'm keeping it with a rainbow on the other side though. I like all those colors, and it helps pull the card, I feel, better together on that side. I've went ahead and I attached it just about 1/2 inch from the bottom, so we can still see our clouds right there. Okay, now that part is ready, and we can focus on our stitch rectangle, which I went ahead and die cut that out using our stitch rectangle dies in our die cutting machine, and that's in our basic white. Let's grab the Coastal Cabana is our ink for this one. Let's do, I remember where I put it though. There we go. Coastal Cabana. Love this color. Open that up. Let's move this aside because we don't need it right now. And we need that long water-like look. So we're going to get a little messy here because this is a lot bigger. But we want a couple of these stamped on. So we want to start from the bottom and do one right there. Ink it up again. And stamp another layer of the water. Lift up. And then go one more above it and don't ink it again. We're going to create just a little bit of light blue above there. There we go. Kind of like that. For this one, it looks like I might have stamped off before even. Well, maybe it's just going to dry. It looks pretty dark right now. I think it'll dry some more here in a second. While this ink is out though, let's go ahead and get ready and stamp our sailboat, and I'll set this aside for a minute. Okay, so our sailboat is fun to stamp. I had a Tuesday's tip at 10 that showed you how to make your own guide. So all I've done is I've used our punch, and I've punched out a piece of cardstock to use to line up my stamps. So I'm going to place it right here onto over our basic white, like that, so I know where it's going to be. And then I'm going to grab my awesome looking sailboat bottom, and we're going to ink that up in that Coastal Cabana, and we're going to line it up and stamp it through. Oop, you can tell this is flipped the wrong way though, and now we're good. Okay, quick ink and line it up through our guide there. I'm going to move my head so I can see this better without getting my head in the frame. Let's see. Right about there. My other guide I used earlier was a different color, which made it a little bit easier. So this guy is just on a scrap of paper. So that's what I recommend, is to use a guide that's different than what you're stamping on. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and do our next color, which is that Flirty Flamingo, which is this fun shade of pink. Open that up. We want this one to be our littler of the two of our cells. So this guy here, and I'm actually going to ink it, and I'm going to stamp it off because it is super juicy and just way too dark for me. And you know what? I don't feel like I'm getting my lines come through. Let me see if they'll come through of that one. That one's a little bit better. So let me go a little bit more gentle so I'm not getting as much ink. There we go. And now let's go ahead and stamp through the guide. That's an easier shape to line up. There we go. And our last one is using the Mango Melody. And I can't remember if I stamped this one off or if I did it full on. So we're gonna do a test on our grid sheet. Let's see. I think I didn't stamp off at all. I need to re-ink this one. This one is not nearly as wet or juicy as the others. And so let's go ahead and line this one up though. Through our guide, and you'll see why I'm doing this in just a second. Doesn't make much sense right now, I'm sure. But that's what it looks like. This extra step will just save you paper and time in the long run. I'm gonna grab my punch, and what I could do now is hold on to this, slide it through, and punch it all out at the same time. The tricky part is just making sure you line it up right into our punch. Let me get it a little closer so you can kind of see. And make sure you have a big enough piece of paper to hold on to. If this isn't big enough, I will add something for me to hold on to, but I think I'll be able to manage this one. We'll go, there we go, here at this bottom. Okay, so you're gonna line it up in the punch, and then you just start to lightly press down for it to punch all of them at the same time. I'm gonna go a little bit, there we go. Hold our breath and punch. Got it. Okay. And you basically make a whole nother guide, except for I got that one a little bit jagged, so you don't want to use that one. That will go into recycle. Okay. Cute. Now we can finish stamping onto this guy with our little cool birds we have and with our sun that we need to create. I did go ahead and use the Memento ink again for these birds. And here they are. So ink these up. You're going to do these at least 3 times. We're going to go start from the bottom and work our way up. Look like these birds are just kind of flying. You can stagger them a little bit over that way. And then these ones will have, look like they're coming off over there. Perfect. Okay. Lastly, for this piece, we just need to create our sun, and there's lots of ways you can do this. If you don't have a blending brush, you can honestly use your finger. But if you have like a sponge dauber or just a regular sponge, you could do that. I'm going to go ahead and grab our Mango Melody, because that's the color we used, and just do very lightly with my blending brush, a dab, and then we're going to do a circular motion right here. Ooh. And depending on how big you want it to go, make your circle wider and wider. But you want it to be that center is that first little, the dark spot in the center there. There we go. Our fun little sun. Love it. Super easy. And now let's grab our mat. We're going to attach this to it by putting some liquid glue on the back side. Here. And attach it. And then those who know me know that I love linen thread. So we're going to wrap some linen thread around here. I'll get that all lined up. Make sure you have borders on all 4 sides. That's why we use the liquid glue, so we can wiggle it just a little bit. Grab your linen thread, which is about probably 8 to 10 inches. I don't usually measure. I just wrap it and tie. And usually I do that on the spool, but since I've made these into kits for those team members and customers, I have it cut freely. There we go. So just a knot bow, which means you just need to gather your 2 ends, trim it. I usually go about maybe 1/2 inch. And then I like to fray. See, this is what it looks like so far. I like to take this and you pull the strands apart of your linen thread and start to just fray it. Maybe There we go. Perfect. For this one, I had it on this bottom right corner. It doesn't matter where, but you can always shimmy it to wherever you want your knot to be. Since we did not attach it with adhesive, you just pull along the back side and push it over to right about there. Okay. Now we can attach our sailboat. We want to use dimensionals on 2 of the pieces. And I like to grab my dimensionals and cut them in half, or use the bottom ones, or use the mini dimensionals depending on what you have. So I just did a little snip here. So now I can pull off this one on the edge and put it on the bottom of my sailboat. Right, that. You just need one. It should be enough. Attach our sailboat into our water. And then we're going to put a dimensional on the back of our pink sail. And attach that one. There we go. And so we don't need anything on this one because we're having that tip of the sail overlap our center of our sailboat, and that allows it to keep it in place. All right, for this one though, we are going to use the liquid glue. I want it to look like that pink sail is the one that's blowing and having us go off into that direction. I'm going to stick that right underneath. So we still want to make it look like it's connected though to our flag, or to our center pole there. Ooh, super cute. I'm just loving that. Flip this piece over, add your dimensionals to the back. You want one in each corner. If you're worried about this moving, you can put a dimensional over that. So that way it will not move anymore, or keep it plain. Grab our card base back in view. Remove the backings. There we go. And flip it. We want to have it about where our sailboat meets the horizon of our DSP. Kind of like that. Grab your black matte dots and embellish just a little bit under your sun. I have 2 here. And just have them angled from each other, like so. And there you go. We have a girly looking card with the Let's Set Sail stamp set. And look how much details and layers this card has. It totally screams girl all over. The more masculine cards usually don't tend to have so much layers and detail. Super fun card. All right, let's go to our next one. We'll keep this going. Let's do our Silver Moon. This one's really fun and just has very simple and basic things, but some cool tips to go to this one. So let's grab those pieces. We're using the basic white as our card base, and then we have basic white for our inside to stamp on, and we're just using the Memento ink and basic gray for our shadow. If you do not have basic gray ink, you can just stamp off your Memento black and then use that as the shadow instead. Let's grab our basic white here and our Memento. There we go. Our Memento ink. Upside down. There we go. Open that up. And let's grab our saying. I have the Let Your Dream Set Sail on the bottom left corner. Ink it up. Line it up. Press down and lift. Looks good, so we don't need to flip and redo. Then for our birds, we are going to, again, use the Memento ink. And I've lost our birds. Oh, there they are. Oh, sorry, super loud. We're going to, if you need a reference, you can put it here. And this one is bigger than this one. I decided I want my moon to be a little bit bigger this time. So you'll see a little bit of variation here. So this way I can just kind of place it above so that our birds look like they're flying in the night, like that. Okay. And then we are going to stamp in our basic gray the little shadow. Some basic gray is the one I'm using. And this one, if you want to grab your sailboat to give you a better reference, I'm just going to eyeball it. We're going to say we're going to place our sailboat just about here. There we go. Make sure I wash this one off. So we'll be using that again. Put our ink away. All right, now let's start the gluing. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and add the liquid glue. Flip it over. We're going to see which ones we prefer, right? If we're liking the bigger silver moon or the smaller one. We'll find out. I had to show you, for your punching out your cells in boat for this one, I just use the mat. This is going to be covered up in just a minute, and it's a lot of wasted space. So I could even get 2 out of this one. But I just went ahead and stamped 1, and then the border is all that we need to be able to see. So that's a fun way to do that. The neat thing about this one is that we totally can change the direction of it because it's just punched instead of stamped. If we wanted to, we could change our cells. I'm going to keep our cells going off to the right. For some reason, that just seems more natural to me. But we'll attach our sailboat to our shadow. And then our sails to our boat here. And I like to have this one go a little bit lower on the right side. And then just make sure you're putting the glue on the right side for this guy. And then this one's going to go a little bit above, like so. So I could have gotten our moon a little bit closer so that the way the boat was going in front of it. Like this one, we have it overlapping a little bit more. Totally up to you how you want to do it. Okay, flip this over. Grab your liquid glue, and now we can attach it to our mat. Just like so. Careful, it's going to be wet on that side, so if I went too crazy, not too crazy. This one I did make a little bit thicker too. You can see that this one has a very faint outline mat. This one I went a little bit thicker, and I think I do like that better. So I made a bigger moon for my kits and a thicker one. This was my first design, so it always comes out different slightly. We have a little silver strip. We're going to add some liquid glue to this back here and put this on the bottom quarter of your card base. So this is about halfway. We're going to go a little bit below it and attach that on. You use your grid sheet to help you go straight. But I usually eyeball it. Now we can use liquid glue on the back of this guy and attach. So this one came together a lot quicker, less stamping, and I just love that super classic look though. How awesome. And that moon is just super shiny. And our tiny little silver piece right here just to add a little extra layer. Love the way that looks. You can kind of see the difference between the two with the big moon to small moon and the extra sizes for our mats there. Okay, set these ones aside, and we have one last one. Our final one is the sunset. This one's really cool, and the circle that I used for this one from this kit was from that very first card that we did. So remember how I had to die cut out this circle piece here from our card base and our embossed piece. That's where the circle came out, and I did not waste it. So I love that. I love that I can reuse things from each card. All right, let's grab these pieces. And for this one, we have our basic white card base. I have a stitch rectangle again, just a little bit different size than some of the other ones. This one's a little bit larger than this one. You can kind of see the difference there. Same look, just a little different. Okay, so for this guy, what we need to do is stamp him in just a minute, but first we're going to focus on our circle. And we need to grab our big piece out here that has our ocean look to it, but this time it's going to be for our sky look. I'm starting with our real red is my color, and let's go ahead and ink that up, mostly just the center, and get that onto the bottom of our circle here. There we go. Now we will have to do washings each time for this one since we're going from dark to light. So just wipe that clean, tap it off to get some of that sticky dryness off. And we'll put this red over here for a minute. We still need it in a second, so I'm gonna keep it out. And then let's go ahead and grab our pumpkin pie. It's one of my favorite shades of orange. It's like a true orange color. Let's go ahead and ink this one up. Let's stamp it full on strength. And you have it overlapping that red just a little bit. And then we're gonna creep it up. And actually, so what happens is that circle creates a different sides, and when I do that, you can kind of see where it had orange right here that creeped along. I'm gonna go ahead and re-stamp this. I know, silly. That's okay. Then we're gonna stamp it off all so it's completely even, and then I can go ahead and stamp it on there. There we go. That turned out better. Then let's go ahead and grab our wipe to wipe that clean. For this one, I used crushed curry, and I did a full-on stamping for that one. I think this time I'm going to try to go a little bit lighter, but it's up to you which one you want to have it look, and I'll show you the difference. So again, here's our crushed curry. I'm going to ink that up. We're going to stamp it off, and then we'll come over here and finish off that sunset. Oh, super cool. Love the way that turned out. All right, so we're gonna keep these colors out. I need my little rectangle here, and we're going to go ahead and grab our shadow of our sailboat, and I'm gonna ink it up in that crushed curry. So here's our crushed curry. Ink it, I'm gonna flip it, and then I'm gonna grab a sponge. So here's just a quarter of a sponge, and I'm gonna grab my real red again in the scene, and we're gonna tap some ink onto the sponge, just a little bit, and go over the top. And you'll see it's going to get on my clear block, and that's fine. These clear blocks are very washable. Okay. If I wanted to have that even more red, I could even go directly on to my ink pad, like that. Okay, now I'm going to stamp right about here, which is the bottom right side of our stitch rectangle. Press down and lift up. Ooh, that is pretty. Let me get closer so you can see that. There we go. So we have our red, then our red with our yellow creates more of like an orange, and then the yellow on there. It's kind of the opposite of what we just did for our sunset view here, which is pretty awesome. Go ahead and grab your sunset circle, and we're gonna glue that on here. Do not use a dimensional for this one. You wanna make sure this one is flat. And then we're gonna grab, well, first let's put these inks away. Let's grab our Memento Black. One last time. Let's grab our birds and our Adventure Awaits saying. I tell you, oh, there we go. These birds are the hardest to find when they're all by themselves. I keep on losing them on my table. All right, ink up those birds. You want some of the birds on your sunset and some onto our stitch rectangle. So stamp it carefully like that. Nice. Looks like they're flying off into it, going to bed. And we'll do our Adventure Awaits and have it overlap our saying just a little bit. Perfect. And now we can attach our sailboat with dimensionals. So get your pieces ready. And should I flip it and have it going that direction? Ooh, let's do it. Let's show you how you can flip the direction of your sails. Again, grabbing my dimensionals, and I'm going to cut off a little half piece. So what you could do if you have those, don't have edges, you just cut them a dimensional in half, and that will work. Flip that over, line it up on our shadow. Again, I'm turning it this time, so that one's going to go that direction. And then I'm going to put a dimensional on the opposite way this time. So just be mindful which way your little flag on the top is going. We'll attach this one right here. There we go. And this one is going to go that direction. Okay. And attach. Have it go a little bit higher. Like so. Ooh, that's the difference. There we go. It's going the other way this time. Pretty cool. Flip it over, put dimensionals on the back, and then we just need to attach this to our card base. And I have one last trick to show you. And then we will be done with this set of cards. Removing the backings. There we go. Flip it, goes about center as you can. Eyeball it. It's okay, it's handmade. People will know that if it's not on there perfectly. Okay, grab your bone folder and your Wink of Stella. What we're going to do now is just do a little bit of flicking of glitter. So we'll open this up, squeeze where it says push, just a little bit out, not too much, without it touching anything. Grab your Wink of Stella in one hand, your bone folder in the other, and we're going to do some splatter glitter spots. Just by tapping on there. And it's really hard to see, so you're probably like, what is she doing? Let me get it closer so you can see where we got some splatters there. If you feel like it's not coming up too much, feel free to push out some more, or even just go through and do like little dots. Little dots onto your sunset here to add just a little bit of glitter. And it just makes it really cool. And just that, you know, that sparkle at sunset you get where the water is just sparkly. Kind of want to get that filled. Okay. There we go. That makes me happy. That has a little bit more glitter. There you go. You see it right there. Ooh, pretty. And we even got some of our sailboat, which is really fun. All right. So here's that card. Our sunset card. Let me go ahead and get all the cards back in view so you can see them again. And then we have our window card. So that's our fun fold right there, looking through the little window to see our sailboat. And then we have our silver moon card right there. Love that with our black sails. And lastly, we have our daytime, kind of more of our girly sailboat there. That's our dog. We're dog sitting. I don't know if you heard all of that lapping. That's Winnie. She's back. She visits us every so often, but she's back and she got thirsty. So sorry. Last minute licking of the water. All right. I hope you guys have learned something new. Be sure to order this stamp set for the month of June, and I will send you this kit. Use the hostess code of the month. Let me find it so you can see it. And that way it will count towards your kit. There we go. That's the hostess code for the month, and they'll ask you to put that in at checkout when you order from my online store. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't yet, so you can see all of my weekly videos and my monthly stamp set kits for the month. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. Happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.